And there was one mistake I made in the Bantam Power Rankings this weekend. The West Colleton Wolverines, their Bantam team folded. They'll be adjusted for next week. Now, the reason the team folded was players, they went off to their high school team. And at NCAFA, we have a one-team rule where you can play NCAFA or you can play high school.
Well, it's not just a You're right. It's not just a NCAFA rule. It's actually a Football Canada rule.
Right. Really?
And the idea is that they don't want kids playing too much heavy contact football sports.
Okay.
It's a
so
safety.
It's more for their safety.
It's a safety rule, right? And with
That
all
makes
the
sense.
talk about concussions and this and that. However, what it does is it kicks up quite a controversy, and we saw a lot of comments online about, can high school and club football survive in conflict with each other?
But other sports do the same thing. Hockey, baseball. All the sports have club and have high school. We talked about this endlessly about it's hard because the high school, and I hate to say as it is, but it's a melting pot of kids. They want to be with themselves.
Yes.
It's hard as club teams to draw those away and say, but it's better here. It's a better experience, more professional, more attentive. It's not work to rule. Teachers, hey, I love teachers. I'm just saying.
Right.
It is done almost sometimes as you're doing the football this year.
Well, and I think this podcast is a perfect vehicle to actually talk about these issues, right? Because everyone has an opinion on what should be done, but we never really come together and solve any problems.
No.
So we saw some comments, we need to, as a league, NCAFA that is, needs to start working with high schools more.
Yeah.
We need to start saying,
if
you have a junior program or a senior program, well, why don't you do the recruiting efforts in the school to help us build our, let's say, Bantam team?
Right.
And then you don't have a junior team, and then we'll feed our kids to you at the senior level.
Right.
There's some validity there, I think. One of the other issues, if you can't really have two strong and healthy programs, you have to decide one or the other. So are we going to bolster high school at the senior level, or are we going to go exclusively with club? Now, my point on it is, do we really want to be having to work with the school board to accomplish things? There might be something there. The other thing is I'm
just calling it out.
Calling it out. You probably don't want to work with the bureaucracy of passing things and working with a school board.
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe they would be very accommodating and you could accomplish a lot with them. Who knows?
Yeah. Or just saying that, you're not trying to teach them math and history in the cafe. We're just saying that, for your sports agenda, you might be better served over here.
Yep. Potentially, the other very, very, I think, important thing to consider is that I would say most, probably all, of volunteer coaches at the high school levels are teachers in the school.
Yeah.
It's very convenient for coaches to have a football team when they're at their job and they can just stay an extra hour or two after. And
all the equipment's not in the back of their car. It's home base. I know as a coach that would go so far for me.
Oh, it'd be huge. Having the facilities, the change rooms, the showers, the equipment, storage facilities. But there are a lot of coaches in the community that coach football that have jobs that they have to work 9 to 5.
Right.
And if practice is at 3:30 or 4:30, we're basically cutting those great coaches out of football.
Yeah.
Well, and truthfully, I know that even for us, I think every family that has a kid, at some point you go, geez, maybe they're good at, who knows? I don't think there are a lot of scouts coming out to watch their high school games when they look at club teams and go, oh, typically that represents the upper crust of the skill level of the sport in the area. So that's where we're going to go take a look. There's a whole number of factors to look at. It's not just one or the other.
And I don't think this is something that maybe we come back to this when we have a few other guests that are very passionate about this topic. But definitely, if you read the comment that the league put out the statement that Football Canada has said, listen, just a reminder, you can only play one team at a time. And
that is something I never thought about.
That is a safety rule, and holy geez, you should see the comments on there.
So what if they want to play football, and then they go play rugby, and then they go play,
there's no control in place there.
Right. I appreciate the sentiment and what they're trying to get accomplished, but it's not a hard and fast.
It's not fixing it.
No. And there's usually another reason in the background that maybe people aren't really all aware about.
True.
So.
For future.
Or whatever you mean.
Yeah, wow.
As
we could go on for another 2 hours about that.
Of competitive sports, Jesse and I have talked about this a lot. I always say, how do other coaches feel about poaching those athletes? I come over to your football team and you got 50 guys out there, and I go to a couple of them, I think they could be incredible baseball players.
Mm-hmm.
May not be your starting. I come and go, hey, give them baseball a chance. Hockey. It's interesting because I have talked to other coaches about that cross poaching of other sports. I mean, there's no hard and fast rule there either. It's more of a what's tasteful, what's decorum. But are sports tasteful and full of decorum? Not really.
Yeah, it's a good topic. I think at the end of the day, what's right for the athlete, the youth, right?
That's
if
the
they
bottom line.
if
It's
they
not
get
about the parents or the teachers
right.
or
the
club or the whatever. It's all about getting the kids engaged and keeping them engaged.
Right.
So.
And if they enjoy playing soccer and they could play a lot more, then maybe that's the right decision.
Right.
Yep. But I know that clubs are always in battle for registration numbers and kids. So it is what it is.
There's a lot of politics in sports. That's for sure.
Right.
Where are we at?